paving female educators and creating new opportunities for African Americans after the Civil War.
Wow. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Diane, the descendant of Bill Trill, an artist born April 1st, 1854. Can you tell us a little about him?
Well, good morning, Lisa. It is not only an honor, it is a pleasure. Bill Trill was a self-taught artist from Lowndes County, Alabama. He was born into slavery and spent most of his life after emancipation as a sharecropper. His parents, Sally and Bill Calloway, were slaves on the plantation of George Hardwell Trill, a white cotton grower.
Was Trailer ever married, and did he have children?
Oh, yes. He was definitely married. He was married twice, as a matter of fact. And it has been ruled that he fathered a number of children in his lifetime. Trailer was noted and mentioned that he fathered 21 some odd children. One daughter, Sarah Sally Trailer, was the one that he spent his final years of life with in Montgomery, Alabama, until his death.
Wow. So how and when did Bill Trailer become an artist?
Well, Trailer began his career at the tender age of 85.
Wow.
It's never too late.
Yes.
He took a pencil and a scrap of cardboard to document his recollections and observations. He spent his days drawing on the sidewalks of Monroe Street, which was the hub of the Black community in the downtown area. It's where he began to receive more attention. He now holds a central position in the field of the self-taught and modern art world.
Wow. Now, we have some of Bill Trailer's work. What can you tell us about his style and or technique?
His work ranged from single, simple figure depictions to more compositionally complicated pieces of multiple silhouetted figures. His largest exhibition of work is entitled Between Worlds.
Wow.
The art of Bill Trailer was on display at the Smithsonian Museum of Art.
But now, it wasn't long after he had passed on when he started to receive recognition, right?
Yeah. True, yes. It wasn't until 1982 when Trailer's work debuted at the Corcoran Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. The audiences noted the significance of the work. The art of Bill Trailer was really about 12 years a slave from his birth and until the Union cavalry swept through the cotton plantation where he was on.
Wow. Thank you, Diane, for that awesome information. Wow. Now, we'll be right back after this Who Am I PSA from someone who is a modern day contributor of Black people who help to change the world.
Hello there. Who am I? Well, I'm married to the first African-American president. I have two daughters, Sasha and Aaliyah. We will live in the White House. I grew up in Chicago South Shore neighborhood with my older brother, Fred. I attended Chicago's public schools and quickly joined gifted classes in elementary school. and an accomplished attorney and graduated from Harvard Law School and Princeton University. I have a passion of getting rid of childhood obesity. I've been thinking about launching a campaign to get rid of childhood obesity and to encourage a healthy lifestyle for children. I've also been thinking about writing a book called Becoming by Michelle Obama. Anyway, I'm getting ready for my football. I'm so nervous. Well, hope to see you there.
Okay, that was really inspiring. Oh my God. Well, welcome back to the Black History Renaissance experience. Next, we'll speak with Donna, the descendant of Meta Warwick Fuller, a poet, painter, and sculptor, born July 9th, 1877. Donna, what can you tell us about Meta Warwick?
Good morning, Lisa. It's good to be here this morning. And in fact, I'm proud to be here this morning with all this that's being shared this morning. Well, Warwick, my God, was a protege of Auguste Rodin, who described her as one of the most imaginative Black artists of her generation. She was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her parents were accomplished and they were successful. Both parents had influential positions in African-American society.
Well, what was Meta's early childhood like?
Well, Lisa, it was because of her parents. She was given access to various cultural and educational opportunities. Her art education and art influences, they really began right in her home. From childhood, her older sister, she kept clay so that Meta would be able to create art right there in their home. She was among the few gifted artists that were selected from Philadelphia public schools to study design at the Philadelphia School of Museum Art.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, did Warwick have time for marriage and family?
Lisa, with all that, she sure did. Meta Warwick, she was married to Dr. Solomon Carter Fuller, who was a prominent physician and psychiatrist. He was born in Liberia. He was well known for his work with Alzheimer's disease and was one of the first Black psychiatrists in the United States.
Wow.
Meta continued to create work as she became a housewife. So after doing all of that, she was a housewife. And she had 3 children. Her son Perry even went on to be a sculptor as well. As much to her husband's dismay, she built a studio right in the back of their house. But you know what? Unfortunately, that studio was destroyed by fire. She lost all her tools and almost, I believe, 16 years of work that were lost in this fire.
Warwick believed making art was her divine calling. But as a young girl, she was also influenced, entertained, and fascinated by the endless stories from her brother and grandfather. Can you tell us how those stories helped to shape her talent?
Sure can, Lisa. So Meta Walk, she studied in Paris, and she became an international artist, adopting a style depicting the events of racial injustice within her pieces of art. You'll see it up there. And as she was known as the delicate sculptor of horrors. She was an active, independent, and non-conforming woman artist. She defied the traditional feminine themes by sculpting pieces influenced by the gruesome imagery of Black experiences within the United States.
Wow. Now, why was her painted sculpture of the lynching of a young Mary Turner her most notable work?
Lisa, it was because of the relation of the horror and the violence of racial injustice. Fuller used her art to call out against the injustice and the treatment of Black people during her time.
Warwick Fuller made significant contributions to theater as well. Can you elaborate?
You know, I can. She was a multifaceted designer, director, and actress. But one of her focuses was on lighting design, which was dominated by men, ladies. Fuller was able to design for African-American and white theaters companies. And that was unheard of during her time, y'all know that. She was known for her creation of props and scenery and masks and paintings of living pictures, Lisa, living pictures.
Wow, now
Proud this
that's
morning.
amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for all your enlightening information on Meadow Warwick Fuller.
Thank you.
Next, we have Obetta, the descendant of James Van der Zee. Tell us who that man behind the camera was.
Well, first of all, Lisa, good morning.
Good
And to the panel.
Good morning.
Well, Van der Zee is best known for his portrait of Black New Yorkers. As a leading figure in the Harlem Renaissance, he produced the most intensive documentation of the period's most famous subjects.
Well, tell us about James's youth and upbringing.
Okay, well, James was born June 19, 1886 in Lenox, Massachusetts. He demonstrated a gift for music at an early age. He was initially inspired to be a professional violinist. Photography was his second interest. He purchased his first camera as a teenager and improvised a dark room in his parents' home. When he moved to Harlem with his father and brother, he acted on his initial aspiration and formed a group known as the Harlem Orchestra.
Nice. So when did Van der Zee's photography career come to life and what was his style?
Well, that happened in 1915. He moved to Newark, New Jersey, where he took a job in a portrait studio as a darkroom assistant. Then as a portraitist, he became a Catholic while taking assignment from the church. He moved back to Harlem the following year and set up the Guaranteed Photo Studio on West 125th Street in New York. His technique of retouching his negative showed the subject in their best light.
Wow. So tell us why Van der Zee's photos were important and why they were recognized.
Well, they were recognized because he was the unofficial chronicler of African-American life in Harlem. His large body of work documented a young, growing, diverse, and thriving middle-class community. He created photos of every occasion, including films for funeral photography. After his death, he was inducted into the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum.
Wow. Well, thank you, Obetta. That was very interesting and enlightening. Now, we have an exciting presentation from Carol Reed Grievous, a praise dancer extraordinaire. You know, praise dancing began during slavery from the traditional dances called ring shots. Take a look. Rock my soul, little rain, rock my soul. All right, now, let's walk on back to the Black Renaissance experience. Next, we have Dorian, the descendant of Augusta Savage, a sculptor born February 29, 1892. Tell us a little of him.
There's a lot to be known about her, so I'm going to share her information right now. Augusta Christine spelled Savage. She was born in Jacksonville, Florida. And as a child, she began making figures out of natural red clay. Unfortunately, her father, who was a poor Methodist minister, he kind of opposed his daughter's early interest in art because he believed her sculptures to be a sinful practice. And that was due to his interpretation of the greater images portion of the Bible. And to that, Augusta remarked once, "You almost whipped the art out of me."
Wow, that sounds like she had a harsh upbringing. But how did she turn that adversarial upbringing around to becoming a renowned sculptor?
She did because the family relocated, and it was the principal of her new high school who allowed her to teach a clay modeling class to encourage her talent. She attended Cooper Union, well-known engineering and arts college, on a scholarship. And her talent and ability really impressed the Cooper Union Advisory Council. So she completed the 4-year course in 3 years.
Yes.
And she was commissioned by the NAACP to make a bust of W.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, and William Pickens. In a 1928 exhibition, Augusta won the Otto Kahn Award with her submission, Head of an Eagle.
Wow. Did Augusta marry and have children?
Yes, she did. She married twice, and she retained the name Savage throughout her life. She was a mother of one daughter.
Wow. Besides her commission work from the NAACP, what are some of her other noted pieces in her style and/or influences?
Savage became the first African-American artist to be elected to the National Association of Women's Painters and Sculptors. She was also one of 4 women and only 2 African-Americans to receive a professional commission from the Board of Design, which was included in the 1939 New York World Fair. Her commission was to create a sculpture that showcased the impact that Black people have had on music. She created Lift Every Voice and Sing, also known as the harp, which was cast in bronze because of image of that.
Yes. You know, that work interpreted the musical instrument by featuring 12 African-American youth and graduated heights as the strings. with the harp's sounding board transformed into an arm and a hand. And in front, a kneeling young man offers music in his hands. Unfortunately, like many pieces by African-American artists, the sculpture was destroyed. Right?
Sad, but true, you're correct. But her style is described as realistic, expressive, and sensitive. She launched the Savage Studio of the Arts and Crafts in a basement on West 143rd Street in Harlem, New York. And later, she became the director of the Harlem Community Arts Center. The Augusta Feld Savage Institute Visual Arts is a high school in Baltimore, Maryland, named after her.
Augustus Savage was quoted saying, "I have created nothing really beautiful, really lasting. But if I can inspire one of these youngsters to develop the talent I know they possess, then my monument will be in their work." Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dorian. Thank you for telling us her story. Now, next we have Howard, a descendant of Aaron Douglas, born May 26, 1899, in Topeka, Kansas. He was known as the father of African-American art. Can you give us some background on the artist?
Sure can, Lisa, and panel and everyone that's listening. My ancestor, Aaron Douglas, was a painter, an illustrator, and a visual educator. Visual arts educator he was. And he established his art career painting murals and creating illustrations that addressed social issues, race, and segregation in the United States by illustrating African-centric imagery. We know we got some social issues here, right?
Well, what are some of the motivations and inspirations that he had?
Aaron's mother was a homemaker and an amateur artist. Maybe that's where I think my heart. Okay. His passion for art derived from admiring his mother's drawings. He migrated to Detroit, Michigan, and took free classes at Detroit Museum of Arts before college at the University of Nebraska. He secured a job teaching visual arts at Lincoln High School in Kansas City, Missouri, instead of passing through New York on the way to advance his career in Paris. He decided to develop his art in New York during the height of the Renaissance, y'all. Aaron studied under a German portraitist who encouraged his working with Afrocentric themes.
Yes. Well, it's known Douglas was an art editor working with W.E.B. Du Bois on a journal for the NAACP, and as an illustrator for the official publication of the National Urban League. Now, how did he become a muralist?
Okay. My ancestor Douglas, maybe that's why I joined the NAACP at a young age too. But anyway, Aaron Douglas illustrations were also featured in Vanity Fair. Okay? And he created his first mural at Club Ebony, highlighting Harlem's night. Now, I have personally me, this descendant, I'm a descendant of Aaron Douglas, okay? And I had a handle, ebony fire. Oh boy. Okay. It's, where did you get all of this from? Our ancestry, y'all. My God. Okay. He later moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where he worked on a series of murals for Fisk University's Kravitz Law Library, which he described as a panorama of the North of Black people in the hemisphere in the New World.
Well, now, Aaron worked on his mural painting technique upon his return to Harlem. He then painted his most acclaimed mural series, Aspects of Negro Life, for the County Cullen branch of the New York Public Library. Now, Carol, go ahead and elaborate on that for us.
Okay, Aaron Douglas used these murals to inform us of the place of African Americans throughout history. And a series of 4 murals. Douglas takes his viewers from an African setting to slavery and the Reconstruction era in the United States. Then, through the lynching and segregation and a Civil War America, to a final mural depicting movements of African Americans north toward the Harlem Renaissance and the Great Depression.
Right. He ultimately returned to Nashville and Fisk University to become the founder and chairman of the arts department. Can you tell us anything else about Aaron Douglas's legacy?
Yes, I can. He used his experience as an artist in the Harlem Renaissance to inspire the students to expand on the movements of African American art, while encouraging his students to study African American history to fully understand the need for African American art, okay? And guess what, y'all? In this predominantly white American society.
Yes. Well, thank you, Carol. Thank you for that inspiring information. And thank you to all of the descendants here today for sharing their generational facts and bringing those facts to our remembrance and or knowledge. Thank you for watching the Black History Renaissance Experience on the All About Christ show. I'm Lisa G. Have a great day and God bless.
Thank you, everyone.